All right, we're out here at the MGM, and more newbies. We've been talking to some of the new guys. I mean, it really is cool. Mike Wessell is here with us, and we're going to kind of tell you about who he is, or at least he is going to tell you who he is. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Glad to be here. Just got a little bit ago doing all my interviews and all that good stuff right now.
How cool is this when you first get here? Because I know you've got some professional fights under your belt, but obviously the production is on a little grander scale. You're doing pictures. You're getting ready for press stuff, the weigh-in. I mean, there's a lot going on.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot going on. I mean, as soon as we stepped off the plane, we had meetings, interviews, meetings, makeup, so it's been constantly going. We've not eaten. As soon as we got off the plane, we're right into everything. And that's good. We get it out now, and I don't have a distraction, later in the week. So get it all taken care of now and be good.
Well, UFC is interesting because I think people believe that, in a lot of ways that UFC has guys handpicked all around the country. I think they have their feelers out there, but a lot of times it's about opportunity. And in your case, I mean, you were here basically 2 weeks ago, and all of a sudden there's an opening, and you happen to be in the right place at the right time. You make some contacts, and then they give you a call, I guess right after the Tough 8 finale, right?
Yeah, I was out with Rolly Delgado. I worked his corner, and he's my manager and one of my managers and trainers. And, I just happened to see Joe Silva, and I told him, hey, I'm always ready to go. I'm always up for a fight. And before we got off the plane on Monday, they had a call from him, and it was about opportunity, and that's what you gotta take the opportunity to go up, say hi to people, and tell people your name. And obviously, they've gotten a million emails from us before, So it's one of those things where he recognized me, he knew who I was and what I was about, and it was just seeing me there and just in face to face, made a little bit of lasting impression. He gave me a call on Monday, so.
So that's interesting. I mean, is that sometimes the way you get attention from UFC? You literally send emails? I mean, do you send videos? How do guys usually get in contact? Because, Joe Silva's a matchmaker, and I'm sure he's got people out there looking, but he can't be at every small fight around the country. So, I mean, is that literally, you're almost like guerrilla marketing yourself?
Yeah, you got to, my Matt Hamilton, my manager, just sends him email after email after email. And, Joe spams a lot of it. I'm sure not just some average joke, or whatever, but I'm sure there's a lot of spamming going on. He's hitting that button. But, He knows about me. I've been at a couple other bigger shows. I have the XFL title and everything. They kind of knew about me, kind of didn't, one of those things. And then just being in the right place, right time, and having the guts to go up and say something to him made the difference, I believe. So.
All right, you just mentioned XFL tie.
Extreme fighting.
I was going to say they were not a football player, but you have done strength and conditioning, right? What kind of level were you working at?
I was I played indoor arena for 2 years, once in San Diego and once in North Dakota, and then I was also at a couple camps. But I was Division I strength conditioning coach for the Arkansas Razorbacks. For 2.5 years, for when Felix Jones and Darren McFadden were there.
Right, so
those were my guys. Well, I had mainly linebackers and D-line, so I got a couple boys in the with the Bears and the Falcons and everything that still keep in touch. So, but yeah.
I was going to say I don't see you as a guy who's running a 4.4.
No. I had a decent 40, but when I played, it was a little bit different. So
what's the transition? I mean, you mentioned the football background. I'm sure there are a lot of football players who are like, oh, I could do that. And then, they get out there. I mean, we saw in one case, and there's been some horrific chances where guys have gone out and, tried to fight and just gotten completely destroyed. So, and then you see guys like Stephen Neal, who I'm sure if he wanted to, the lineman for the Patriots, who was he was a big time wrestling champ. Actually knocked off Shane Carwin, who's now a high level heavyweight. There's guys like that who have a wrestling background who could legitimately do it.
Oh, I think people forget. Especially football players, I could do that. Well, it takes a little bit harder training than football. It takes a way different training than football, And so that I think all the aspects of MMA, and especially like with UFC, you have to be on your top game of everything. You can't be just good at boxing and hope to win, because that guy's going to come in there and take you down and beat you up, So, I mean, you've got to be on top of everything. Conditioning, boxing, striking, BJJ, whatever it is, you have to be on top of it, And so I think a lot of people follow the wayside and say, oh, I've got a tough chin. Well, last time I checked, anybody that runs out with their chin just hanging out gets beat up pretty good. So then that's not a good strategy, to hopefully they tire out on hitting you,
And the guy I was going to mention was Johnny Morton. Went in a he got wrecked. I mean, it was literally 30 seconds. I mean, he got seriously hurt too. I mean, they thought he got really injured there. So,
and that's just a case of somebody probably he probably didn't train with anybody. He just thought I could do this. And, you know, that's why I think the UFC represents not to do that. Right. You know, they kind of keep people from doing that. You know, this is the real deal. This isn't, you know, for the little kids in the backyard and everything. So
what's your strong suit? What's your background? Is it more of the wrestling? Is it more striking?
I'm a striker. I'm a stand-up and a ground-and-pound guy. You know, I have good jiu-jitsu skills. I'm starting to love doing that more. You know, I'm very comfortable with certain things. And then, you know, of course, I'm not going to be pulling out triangles and everything else. I got short, stubby legs, and they're too thick anyway. So, I've got certain things that I can transition off my back, and then I do really good on ground and pound too. So, but I'd rather stand up and bang. That's what everybody wants to see, and that's what I like to do anyway.
All right. What do you think of Hardonk? I mean, how much have you seen him? He's obviously a guy who's got a pretty good amount of experience. He looks pretty lethal on his feet. He hasn't had, the most consistent success, but he's obviously a high-level fighter.
Yeah, he actually is a high-level fighter. He's a very good fighter, One thing that I really, from watching Hardonk, everybody's talking about his leg kicks and everything. His perseverance is just amazing. He just keeps going. I mean, I think it was the Sanchez fight. I mean, he was losing, and he was losing both rounds, and then, all of a sudden he comes out and knocks that guy out. Regardless of the circumstances, he stayed in there. He was losing that whole entire fight, and then ended up pulling out. So that's a lot of heart, and that's a lot of perseverance, and I got a lot of respect for that. Considering, he's got good skills. He's going to have a good reach on me. I've got to do what I can't worry about what he's going to do. I've got to worry about what I'm going to do, right. And that'll take care of itself.
So to close out, what's it like being, first time UFC event? We talked about some of the stuff you have to do in terms of responsibilities, but just being, near the arena, around these fighters. I mean, this is the type of card where if you're an MMA fan, I mean, I was watching the press conference today and I'm like, wow, especially if you're a Pride fan and you complained about, those guys not being over here, you're looking across and Nogueira and Quentin Jackson and then there's Wanderlei Silva. I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, almost to the point where if I was a fighter, you could be overwhelmed by the situation.
Well, with me, I don't pay attention to that. It's awesome. To be on this card, to be even on the, the poster or whatever, even to be able to have my name underneath Forrest Griffin's name is an awesome thing. I'm really excited, but like I said, I've got to keep grounded and not get too big head, because if I don't do right Saturday night, I won't ever be back again. So I've got to represent myself and, and kind of take a step back and say, I'll be a fan later. I'm a fighter now, and that's what I got to take care of now. So.
All right, good deal.
Well,
good luck.
I appreciate it. Thank you.